Diggy Mole's new home. Diggy is a mole. His coat is black and soft. He can dig in the ground with his strong front claws. He digs a long tunnel under the field by the river. This is where Diggy lives, in a cosy home at the end of the tunnel. When the sun shines, Diggy Mole loves to sit and look at the river. Today, Diggy wakes up with wet feet. When he jumps out of bed, he lands in a puddle. Splash! Plop, plop, plop. He goes along to his front door. He looks outside. What can I do now? I know what this is. It is a flood, says Diggy. The water from the river has made a flood in his field. Look what the flood has done to my cosy home. This is very bad. I must find a new home to live in, says poor Diggy. The water is not very deep. He can make his way across the field to the hedge. Diggy must look for a new home away from the water. A blackbird lives high up in the hedge, says Diggy. It will not be wet there. A bird's nest is just what I need. Diggy looks in the hedge until he finds an empty bird's nest. He climbs in. I will be dry here, he says. When night comes, Diggy cannot sleep. The moon and the stars are too bright. I do not want to live in a home without a roof, says Diggy. In the morning, he jumps out of the bird's nest in the hedge. Diggy goes along the lane. What can I do, says poor Diggy. Diggy begins to look for a new home with a roof. He meets a fat brown toad. The toad says, "Come and have a bite to eat with me." He goes into Toad's home. "If you want a home with a roof, why not have this flower pot? I'm moving out today. You can move in," says the toad. When night comes, Diggy cannot sleep. A flower pot home has cold walls. The hole in the bottom lets in the wind. "I've never been so cold," says Diggy Mole. "I do not want to live in a cold home like this," says Diggy. Off he goes down the lane into a farmyard. Diggy begins to look for a new home that is warm. He sees Mother Hen with her little chicks. Mother Hen takes care to keep her chicks snug and warm, says Diggy Mole. I can make a cosy home in the hen house. I can make it with some straw. So then Diggy Mole makes a nice warm home. When night comes, Diggy cannot sleep. All the hens begin to snore. All the chicks run about after bedtime. They do not want to go to bed. Diggy is very cross. "I cannot stay here," says Diggy Mole. In the morning, he goes out and across the cornfield. Diggy begins to look for a new home where no one wakes him at night. He sees a big tree by the side of the cornfield. "This is just what I want," says Diggy Mole. "I can make a home in the roots of the tree. No one will wake me up there." Diggy begins to make a new home. When night comes, Diggy cannot sleep. There is not a sound. He's all alone. Diggy feels afraid. "I do not like to be alone," says Diggy. "I must go away from here." In the morning he gets up. He goes away from the tree. He goes along a sandy bank. He is very sad. What can he do? Diggy sees a little door in the sandy bank. "Here is a tunnel just like mine," he says. He looks inside. Someone is coming along the tunnel. It is someone who has a soft black coat. "Hello, I'm Monty Mole," he says. "Come inside. I live all by myself. I'm so glad to meet you." Diggy goes into the tunnel. "The water made a flood in my home. I cannot find a new home," says poor Diggy. "A mole needs a tunnel and a cosy home to live in." "It is great fun to share," says Monty. "You can have my spare room." "Hooray! Thank you, Monty," says Diggy. "Now I have a new home and a new friend too." The end.